I'm not a crook.
It is postulated by some historians that the original reign of terror, the endless cycle of rises to power, followed by denunciations, followed by the horse cart express to the guillotine in revolutionary France, finally collapsed because ordinary citizens just couldn't take it seriously anymore in a grisly, costly, nauseating way. The idea that there were enemies everywhere, even among those who had just said there are enemies everywhere, had become laughable. Our fourth story in the countdown, we may be nearing that tipping point for the terror Republicans, their president, and their television propaganda channel. As Fox News breathlessly reports, a 4-year-old memo has breaking terror news about the California fires. And as a president sets up the ultimate stupid straw man argument, the old Avis commercial comes to mind. Ever get the feeling some people just stop trying? First, the president.
We established a program at the Central Intelligence Agency to question key terrorist leaders and operatives captured in the war on terror. This program has produced critical intelligence that has helped us stop a number of attacks, including a plot to strike the U.S. Marine camp in Djibouti, a planned attack on the U.S. consulate in Karachi, a plot to hijack a passenger plane and fly it into Library Tower in Los Angeles, California, or a plot to fly passenger planes into Heathrow Airport and buildings into downtown London. Despite the record of success, and despite the fact that our professionals use lawful techniques, the CIA program has come under renewed criticism in recent weeks. Those who oppose this vital tool in the war on terror need to answer a simple question. Which of the attacks I have just described would they prefer we had not stopped?
Setting aside all the intelligence community's skepticism about all of those alleged plots, including the one in which Mr. Bush could not even get the name of the LA skyscraper in question correct, there is the additional element of what happens when the culture of fear begins to inspire not terror nor outrage but laughter. Fox News today on the California wildfires. Believe it or not, its morning team today wanted America to see Al-Qaeda's shadow in these flames. Pay close attention, because it's almost all wrong.
The June 25th memo from the FBI's Denver offices was reported 5 days ago by the Arizona Republic. That was in the newspaper. They carried this story, and they continue to expand on it.
Brian, the plot, they say, according to this detainee, and they don't know if the detainee is telling the truth or if he's just lying. The plot was to set 3 or 4 wildfires, but they don't mention California. They mention Colorado, Montana, Utah, and Wyoming.
Okay, apart from the irrelevancy, just the major factual mistakes on the air there. The memo was reported not 5 days ago, but 6 days ago, plus 1,560 more days ago. The memo is from July 11th, 2003. The Arizona Republic is a newspaper. Congratulations, Fox. But it has not been carrying the story nor continuing to expand upon it. The guy who reported it doesn't even work there anymore. He never confirmed 4 years old plus old plot. Not only didn't mention California, the fires were also supposed to be set simultaneously, unlike these, and they were intended for the middle of summer. Let's bring now to Rachel Maddow, whose show airs every weeknight on Air America Radio. Rachel, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
Overall question. Am I being too optimistic, or has giggling now passed paranoia in response to the president and these macaw parrots working at Fox?
Yeah, the Al-Qaeda started the wildfires line. The Barack Obama went to a madrasa line, and the new line, too, which is that the only barrier between us and peace in Iraq is that we haven't yet started a war with Iran. Because once we do that, then there will be peace in Iraq. I mean, it would be one thing if this was just a news network that was wrong a lot. That would be amusing enough. But they're wrong for a reason. They're wrong to try to make Republicans seem right, and they're wrong to try to make what is an extreme and therefore kind of an extremely indefensible Republican agenda right now for the country seem sane. And because it's about such serious stuff, I feel a little guilty thinking that it's funny and finding hilarity in it. But at the same time, when I heard this morning that Fox was saying that Al-Qaeda started the wildfires, I will admit to coffee streaming out my nose onto my desk and laughing very hard.
And just yesterday, the same team in the morning, with its consistent veracity, attacked Senator Obama for not putting his hand over his heart during the national anthem, and cited, totally incorrectly, a U.S. statute that it claimed required him to do so, that he broke a law by not doing so, that everybody who hears the anthem anywhere, even if it's only in their own head, and does not put their hands over their hearts, is subject to, I don't know, prosecution. Why are these guys and the rest of the right so in love with the trappings of patriotism and at the same time helping Al-Qaeda by manufacturing these superhuman powers that Al-Qaeda supposedly has? I mean, I heard Al-Qaeda causes night to fall.
Yes. They have to come up with superhuman powers for Al-Qaeda because they want to use Al-Qaeda to justify a super extreme agenda for the United States of America. And if you really, really want to radically transform our government and radically transform who we are as a country, if you want East German-style policing and people informing on their neighbors, and if you want to get rid of the Fourth Amendment, and if you want endless wars that are conducted for profit, if you want to completely get rid of the safety net function and the regulatory function of the government, if you have an agenda that radical, you better have a really radical justification for it. And so they've had to elevate this band of death cult fundamentalist criminals into a threat that is greater to our country than the Soviet Union ever was, when they not only had a military, but they had thousands of armed nuclear weapons pointed at our country. They have to make Al-Qaeda seem even worse than that.
Yeah, instead they're turning them into kind of a weak version of Goldstein from 1984. But
yeah.
Now to the head of this, the terror Republicans, Mr. Bush, and this superficially powerful question: which attack do you permit? Which Americans have to die because Americans didn't do everything possible to stop it? I heard this and I thought of the British politician in the 30s who's trying to answer the question in Parliament: why did you guys lie to us and fall behind German aircraft production? And he said, well, look what happens now. I mean, if we had built our planes, our new planes, when we said we were going to, they'd already be out of date. And they laughed the guy out of Parliament and out of office completely. Who is George Bush kidding at this point?
Yeah, I think what we are learning right now is that great government secrecy, if we always wondered why they had such a penchant for secrecy, we're now learning that great government secrecy really clears a lot of room for great rhetorical flab.
Yeah.
Things that can't be checked but sound great in the hot second before you think about them. And the question is whether or not we're going to keep letting him, charge us that every time somebody disagrees with him politically, that they've got the blood of phantom Americans on their hands. How long we get to be threatened by that and still see it as an asset that 3,000 real Americans died while he was at the helm of the nation, ignoring the warnings about it.
Precisely. And in the interim, in the lighter part of that, the bubble keeps him from understanding that he is perceived as the head in the bubble, or if you want to phrase it the other way, the bubble head. Rachel Maddow of Air America, as always. Great thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, Keith.